Come on in, everybody. We're starting in 5 minutes. Guess we should play the Price is Right music, huh? Let's do that.
Come on down.
Yes. Type your name, please, in the chat so we can connect with you and see who all is in the room with us. We are so excited to get started, guys. Come right on in. We got one person in here already. Welcome. Thank you for joining. We'll be getting started in a few minutes. Give everybody some time to come right on in.
Yes.
All right. Please type your name in the comments. Since you got some time, you can head over to Amazon and purchase a copy of the book. If you haven't already, which you should have. All right. Let's get some music for you guys. I feel like I want to do a little trivia. You guys, those that weren't on last week. All right. Who was the very first host of The Price is Right?
Wow.
Let's see who knows that. The very first host of The Price is Right. That's Jeopardy.
We got to do the Jeopardy song for The Price is Right trivia. Which game show are we talking about now?
Come on in. Come on in, everybody. We'll be starting in a few minutes. All right, please type your name. All right, it's almost time for us to get started. All right, everybody, in about 28 seconds, we will be getting started. So please type your name in the chat and we will connect and get started. Give you guys a little bit of grace. We'll be rocking and rolling in 10 seconds. Let's see, we have someone in on. Let's make sure we're streaming because we had a little bit of tech issues a little earlier. All right. Some people said they couldn't get in. All right. All right, here we are. Here we are. All right, see some people coming in. Yes, yes. I dare you to win. So excited that this is our official first discussion on tonight for I Dare You to Win with Kanita Washington. Thank you, Kanita, for joining us tonight.
It's a pleasure being here. Thanks for having me, Nicole.
Yes, yes, yes. It's always so much fun when we get together. We have Kanita Washington, we have Crystal Love, and we have Kiki to join us on this call tonight. Thank you all so much for coming in. I see we have a couple people on. All right. Thank you for joining.
Kiki's on the show.
Hi, Mama Gina.
Yes. Thank you for joining us tonight. Everyone else, please type your name and we will shout you out as we see you coming in. But guess what, guys? We're going to jump right in and get started. I am so excited to be here tonight with author Kanita Washington. And the thing that I love so much about it is that this book is so universal. Like, you know how some books are like, oh, this is for moms, or this book is for pastors, or this book is for people with kids. But no, this book is for everyone. Everyone needs a win at life. Any and everyone who needs a win. And I love how you made it nice, like you said, short, to the point, but powerful. And I'm really excited because we just launched our first episode where you talked about the first chapter, the Law of Familiarity, which was amazing. And it talks about the beginning of your journey, how it all started. So we don't need to go into that over again because we already talked about that in the podcast. So for those of you that did not check that out, please go to our website to check out the podcast episode, or you can go to the YouTube page to check out the episode. So tonight, I would love for us to chat about the law of risk. And before we get into that, that's a heavy one.
Risk takers, any risk
Yes.
out there?
That is a heavy one. Before we get into that, Kanita, can you tell us about your journey and just how it all started for you? How this whole process started?
Whole process started. Well, the whole process started with winning, of course, the Price is Right show. And even before that, I would go to baby showers. Even playing Uno with my family. Kiki, sometimes
she be cheating. So it's some type of magical powers or some type of prayer that's rendered to cause these wins. Amen. Because it's unusual. Okay, carry on.
So how did the Price is Right even become an idea for you? Like, where did that whole idea come from, and why'd you go, and just what was that like?
I was traveling with a good girlfriend of mine. Hi, Deborah. I was traveling with Deborah, and literally her family goes away every other year. Usually they do a family reunion, and then every other year they travel together. So I kind of said, can I come in your suitcase? She said, well, it's for family and friends. Traveling, I'm going to be in somebody's suitcase to get there. So I was able to go with my girlfriend, Deborah, and her aunt, because they were going as a family. I was able to go with them, and my whole life has changed because of that.
Wow. And the thing I love about it is that your journey is not, your journey is, I want to say it's not typical because not everybody gets to go in the Price is Right and win, So you were able to take from that experience and say, let me help others. And what I love is that you broke it down, and y'all know I like to call them little nuggets, but you broke it down into 7 laws for us to follow, which makes it's just bite-sized laws, but they're so power-filled and power punch. How you say it? Power punch? power pack punch, something like that. They can go kick you. They go. They give you that and it's enough for you to receive it, to implement it in your life, and then you give us an affirmation, which I love. So let's jump right on into it. The law of risk. The law of risk, chapter 2. And so at this point, and I mean, you could jump in and talk and tell us about this because I don't want to talk over your story, but you were in the car, riding in the van, you were looking at all the signs around you, you were reading things, the Hollywood signs. Yes. I mean, how was that whole experience? Just seeing all those glitter lights and just everything.
Well, as I was traveling from Vegas, like you said, Nicole, to California, I had no idea what I was in store for. Literally, I was reading one of the, I think it's Break the Bread or the Bread of Life, the little
Daily Bread.
Daily Bread, yeah, Daily Bread.
Break the Bread.
Bread of Life. I didn't think, maybe I need to. That's a new one. That's a new one. That's volume 5. Okay, copyright. So I was reading that, and of course, it was about the miracle of the 5,000 being fed, and just imagine me kind of like just journaling, just praying even on the way. And God was like, okay, this is what I'm about to do for you. I'm about to break you. I'm about to bless you. And I'm about to feed you to many. Now, even at that place, part of the reason that I traveled, and anybody that's gone on vacation, you're probably depleted. You know, you're going away to relax. You may be even broken. You know, sometimes couples go away and it's like, you know what? We just need a good trip. If we take a good old vacation, you know, we can come back rejuvenated. So I was at the place where even when I was traveling, and the Lord is saying, I'm going to break you and I'm going to give your testimony, your life to many. I was just like, Lord, you know, I'm broken. I don't know if you're about to break me, but I'm broken. Okay. So on the way, I had no idea, just journaling what God has said on the way to the show is what he was about to do. Wow. It was so much and so good. I was like, Lord, you just told me you was going to do something like 4 hours ago.
Wow.
And it just manifested suddenly. And I even looked up the word tonight, and I wanted to share it really quickly. When we say the law of risk, seize the signs. It says, take hold of suddenly. So, and I said, Lord, that's exactly what that moment was. God had spoke something, and even, of course, I still had to go through the process, but I was taking hold. I was seizing the moment. I was looking at different signs. I was looking at different numbers. And there is, I suggest to people, you know, and I know we have some wonderful saints that's been in church and they don't believe in, you know, numbers and lottery, you know, everything is demonic, but I'm just going to say everything is not demonic. And there are numbers that I see every day, the same time, all the time. And I would tell people to pay attention to the signs, because God can be speaking in a road sign. He can be speaking in a tag number. He can be giving you direction in every area. And you really have to seize the sign. You have to take hold to what God is saying, even when he's coming anonymously, even when he's coming in a very unique way that may not be comfortable to what you taught, what your tradition says, and what your background says. But that day I was paying attention to the signs. Why? Because I was open. I was, you know, I was at a place, I was on vacation. So I was rested. My mind was free. Although I was by the pool laid out, you know, so I had a moment to just kind of woosah. So I was open. So when God was speaking, I was like, ready. So I'm looking, you know, when God speaks and say, pay attention to the sign, you need to, that's immediate. That's not, oh, well, I'm going to do that when I get back. I was not saying when I get back from vacation, then I'm going to pay attention to the signs when my plane lands. Absolutely not. I started immediately saying, okay, God, you just said you were going to do something. Then you allow me to win this show, showcase me. Okay. Won a show on the showcase. So God, now how can I immediately put into action the word you just gave me from my journal to now it needs to reach millions. Now this message, these things from my wallet being stolen to everything. I had canceled the trip initially because somebody was going to be offended by me going to Vegas. Like, oh, well, Vegas is wild. I'm not comfortable. Well, that was your issue. It wasn't my issue. They even accused me of, oh, well, you never canceled the trip. I literally canceled this trip and almost missed out on this blessing. This opportunity, as Kiki said, of a lifetime. So having the right person and the right people in your life and in your ear means so much. And it means so much to you taking risks. Because sometimes you can tell people, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to launch this book. I'm going to go here. I hear God saying this. They be like, did God really say that? They will stop you from taking risks.
That's so true.
So much had happened in this time that I said, I have to tell this story. I don't know another way to tell this story. I have to document it. I don't want it to be long, God. I want people to take it in, and it transform their lives forever. So that's exactly how this book was birthed. It happened 5 years ago, and this was the timing. I had been praying about, God, when to release this, and the team was like, okay, so when are you going to do this? When are you going to do this? This book is sitting. It was not just sitting on the shelf without any purpose. I was literally praying for the timing of God. And after we have just experienced so many losses of lives, people have lost their job, people have lost their way. Relationships have divided. Even in COVID-19, people found out, I don't really like you. We shut down, and people learned a whole lot in this past season. So people have lost so much. And God said, this is the time. Now, this is the time where my people's ears and eyes are open, and they can receive what I have to say. So this everything about this process it's been about me, but I feel like God was saying, I'm going to give this to you, but it's for others. I'm going to give these things to you, but it's so that you can feed with fish and bread. And when they break it, when I bless it, I'm going to multiply them and cause them to win. I'm going to cause them to accelerate. I'm going to cause them to excel. This is what God has done. I'm just the little lad that said, Jesus, this is here. Here's my brokenness. This is my little lunch. This is my little piece. This is my little contribution. This is my little testimony. This is the little thing that I have, but such as I have, I'm going to give it. And I feel like God says, whoever will read the book, whoever will buy a copy and bless somebody else, they're going to experience win after win after win in their lives. That's what I believe that God has done and is doing in this book. So it's time to take the risk. It's time to seize the signs, to take hold to what God is saying. Pay attention, pay very close attention. And I know when we usually hear the word risk, we sense danger, like we immediately go into fear. But God is saying, if you take the risk, I'll back you. If you take if you launch out into the deep, I'll be there. If you jump off the mountain, I'll be your life jacket. I'll be wherever you need me to be. If you take the risk, He is not going to cause you to fail or to fall or to falter in this season. You won't be embarrassed. You won't be disqualified or discounted because your name is not, you don't have the right last name, or you don't feel like you don't have the right age. Whatever, when you take a risk in this season, God is going to back you. God is going to do it, and He's going to blow not just your mind, but even the minds of the people that have watched you fall, that has watched you in the last season maybe move in depression or low self-esteem. God is going to cause your situation to change to the fact that even those around you are going to watch God do a mighty blessing, just like feeding the 5,000.
Yes, that was good.
That was so good. Yes. That's thank you so much for sharing that. And sometimes we don't always think about it that way, but I'm so glad that you were able to hear what God was saying and to say, God, I'm just one part of the plan. I'm just one part that's going to help others. And I love that you have such a heart to have people win, and that you weren't thrown off or persuaded to do something else because of how the situation looked. Like you said, because of all the things that were trying to stop you from getting there in the first place, even trying to cancel the ticket and missing the opportunity altogether. And you said something very interesting about the law of risk, because usually risk has a negative connotation. It's like, oh no, what am I going to lose? But in God, there is no loss. There is none. The only risk is the risk is risking your own thoughts and feelings and mentality. It's getting you out the way. That's the only thing. The risk is, actually, let me restate that. The risk is you being in the way. You are the risk.
Don't risk your destiny this time.
Exactly. So, taking a risk is really listening to your own thoughts and feelings and your own emotions and your own wisdom. That is the risk. But when we push us out of the way and let Him step in, there is no risk. There is none.
Yeah.
Because he's the surety. We are the unsure. We're unstable. No matter how much we try, we are not stable unless it includes him. So I want to read something that you said at the beginning of your book.
Okay.
The law of risk is the calculated, innate decision to no longer be paralyzed by fear,
Yeah.
but be arrested by faith. Faith translates to risk. Where there is faith, there will always be a risk taken. The risk is stepping out into the unknown to tread upon murky waters in order to attain a victorious win. It's time to grab a hold of your hope and move in faith. And I like that you wrote that at the beginning of the chapter, Law of Risk Sees the Signs, because faith is really truly, you just don't know. You don't know. So it's kind of weird to say risk in a sense because, well, not weird, but when people say risk, they think negativity or danger, but it's not really a danger. It's a good risk in a sense, if I could say it that way, because you're putting your faith in someone who you know has got your back.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No, there is no loss.
Can't lose.
So I definitely think that that's an amazing way to put it. And seizing the signs, seeing everything that's around you, understanding what God is showing you.
Yes.
And I know in all of our lives, and feel free to jump in, Kiki or Crystal, if you haven't, if you wanted to share anything, but are there signs in your life? Do you feel like there's some signs in our lives that we may miss sometimes because we're just not paying attention or don't know to pay attention? You feel about that?
Yeah. Well, what I thought about when we were talking about the risks, if you think about it, life itself is a risk.
Yeah.
We get up every day.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even know if we're going to wake up. We don't know until we open our eyes. And so we take a risk by getting in the car. We put our seatbelt on, praying that we don't get in an accident. The stop signs, the go signs. Sometimes when we are going through the light, sometimes if we don't watch, the other cars that are coming the other way, sometimes they run the light. So I just think about every risk that we take little by little. We take a risk by walking down the steps, holding on to the rail, praying that the rail doesn't give in. Every step that we take every day is a risk. So why not take a risk and stepping out on faith?
Yes.
Your dreams, your visions. You won't know how it's going to happen on the other. Now, number one, with God, it's going to happen. If he gave you a vision, if he tell you to release it at a particular time, because God will tell you the date. He will tell you, I want you to release this. I want you to release it on this date. It may not even make sense to you why he said release it April the 30th or why he said release it July 2nd. But it's all about obedience. It's all about what he tells us to do, when he tells us to do it. We're taking a risk by faith, but we can always trust that what God says and what he tells us to do, it's going to come out on the other end as victory. Yes. It's a win-win.
Yes.
It's a win-win. It truly is. It truly is a win-win.
Because the script of our lives is already written out. He knew Kanita was going to go to Vegas. He knew she was going to win. She didn't know she was going to win when she got there. He already knew it. So guess what? He gave her, she opened the Daily Bread. She read it. He spoke to her about the story about the 5,000. He gave her instructions. He told her to pay attention to the signs. She paid attention to the signs. She went on there. It was ordained so that she can write this book, so that she can encourage others to win. She took risks all the way. Her whole life was a risk.
Yes.
Up into her releasing this book and releasing the prophetic word, releasing the sound, because our words create. Our words cause people to move. And so these words that she has spoken, in addition to writing them down, it is written that we will win.
We will win.
It's written that we have the victory. Absolutely. And so I'm encouraged. I thank God for this book. I have been hearing, it's been a sound. It has been a sound out when this is your winning season. I've been hearing it from different places. And so God wants us to know. If you don't know, listen, get this book. Read this book. It's a good read. It's a quick read, but I promise you, when you finish reading this book, you're gonna want to get your pad, your journal before you even finish reading the book. You're gonna want to get your pad, your pencil, write down your visions, and just go ahead and just step out on faith and do it. You'll never know. There's no failure in God. So if He tell you to do it, it's gonna happen for you. But I thank God for this book, and for you, Kanita, for stepping out on faith and daring us to win.
Yes.
Thank you. I was thinking about this, and I know Kiki want to jump in real quick. Crystal, when you just said that, I had to risk it all, because at that point I was all in love. And this, like I said, this was a few years ago. We were seriously talking about getting married at that time. And basically he gave me an ultimatum that if I went on this trip, that it would cause issues in our relationship. Now, even when I went back to pray, and that was part of the reason I canceled the trip, and I went back and I prayed, and I heard the Lord say, go. So I had to say, am I going to take the risk and do what God says do and walk in obedience? Or am I going to try to appease somebody, even on the onset of a relationship, talking about spending my life with them, and realizing that that wasn't the right person, because you're not sensitive to the Spirit. You're not sensitive to who I am in God. So even trying to hold me back, saying, out of your own insecurities and your own rejection, so I could have allowed that to say, well, this is going to cost me my relationship. And that's why some people won't take the risk, because they feel like it's going to cost them their relationship. It's going to cost them to lose some friends. You sometimes, to win, you're going to have to lose and cut off something.
That's right.
So when you said that, it just brought that back to me. I had to risk saying, you know what? If this going to open up a can of worms in this relationship, so be it. But I asked God, and He said go. So if He told me to go to Vegas, I didn't know why in prayer God said go.
That's right. I
went back that airline and said, okay, God, if this is you, allow me to be able to get that ticket on that good flight. The ticket was $80. It was $87. 8 is new beginning, 7 is conclusion.
Come on.
Perfection. Bringing that to an end. This trip, honestly, was the crust of why our relationship folded.
Okay.
So sometimes God, when you take a risk, God will remove somebody out your way that shouldn't even be in your way.
That's right.
Wow.
So I lost to win. I lost in relationship, but look what I gained.
Wow. That's good.
And then I won, because that wasn't the person, that wasn't the one for me.
Come on.
So even in my win, God was showing me who is who.
Was the one.
And who deserved to be a part of my win.
Wow.
So that came back to me, Crystal. We take a risk in everything. So even that trip to say yes, sometimes to say yes, that means you got to take those spiritual scissors and start snapping.
Spiritual scissors.
Crystal, you a hairstylist, cutting these good split ends.
Cutting them split ends. They dead.
Split ends off. Cut those relationships, cut those ties off that don't mean you no good. Length is beautiful, okay, but if it's broken and split, it's growing and it's not healthy.
No.
That's so good.
Exactly.
That's so good.
You got something to say.
Ooh, that's good though.
Fool with me tonight. It's Thursday.
No, this makes me.
And then this is the thing.
This makes me think of when Jesus told Peter to cast his net.
Oh, what you say, Kiki? I'm sorry.
Makes me think of when Jesus told Peter to cast his net again. So he was willing to take the risk on the instruction. So we have to be obedient. That's number one, obedience. Because if you're not obedient to take the risk, you won't receive the coins that's in the fish that's waiting.
Coins.
That's key.
That's key. We dropping keys. But yes, and also going back to paying attention to the signs. I know I'm very certain that the timing was right for this book, because you do look around, all you hear and see is win. And this was already in the making. So nobody stole anything.
In the making, months ago.
It was already in the belly. It was already like, win. And so the baby was born. So this was already And everywhere you look, everywhere you go, I go on Facebook all the time. I recently heard a sermon about winning, songs about winning. So
Yeah,
applicable, and that's a sign, a telltale sign in itself that this was the season.
this was an appointed time.
Season to cast your net. I remember, I think it's the back of the book that says, I'm certain you played the classic game Truth or Dare. Now, my mother told me and my sister that we better not never play no Truth or Dare. She said that's demonic, it's dangerous. We played anyway. She don't have Facebook, so ain't nobody. She don't find out. She don't have Facebook, so she ain't gonna find out. We played Truth or Dare, and some of them dares was suspect. But anyway, I ain't doing. But I want
Tell us
someone.
anything. Tell us anything.
Right, this for the book and this for the gram. And
This for the book.
but this book makes me want someone to dare me. Like, I want you to dare me.
Dare me.
Like, don't dare me to do nothing crazy, but I want you to dare me to win.
Challenge
Because if you dare me to win, my truth will be that I won.
Kiki, I dare you to sell 100 books tomorrow.
Y'all better get this.
I dare this book to sell out. I dare this book to sell out.
That's right. I do dare this book to sell out.
I double dare.
But I want to win, and I want someone to be like, you should want people in your life that dare you to be great, that dare you to excel, and dare you to succeed, dare you to win, because it's a winning season.
It's our winning season. That didn't Kayla Carr say? It's our winning season.
And we don't want seasonal wins. We want
season.
Instantaneous.
My God. I want to bring Nicole, I just thought about this. On page 20, for those that have the book, when we're talking about paying attention to signs, even the number that I wore on the shirt, because they give everybody a number, my number was 150.
Wow.
So just before the show, I Googled. Now, this is about to blow y'all mind. And we only have about a few more minutes. I said, let me look up the angel number, because sometimes when you see numbers all the time, and I haven't done, this is 5 years later, and I have not looked this up. This is my first time doing this. I said, let me look up the spiritual connotation of 150. Listen to what this says. This is Googleable.
Reverend Google.
This is Reverend Bishop Apostle Google. It reads, angel number 150, stand up for yourself. Angel number 150 indicates that there will come a season when people will realize your silence has given you great things.
Is that a law?
In other words, you have to work silently and let your actions talk.
Come on.
Probably you will soon realize that many people want to get closer to you. Perhaps if you want to win, what?
I'm done.
No, when I was about to read this, I Googled it and I said, Kiki, can you make sure that this iPad is working? Because I was about to fall out this seat. And this is Google, but I didn't just create. I never had done this, but I was like, okay, Lord, what are you saying?
I'm done.
You gave me this 5 years ago, but what are you saying for right now? Pay attention to the signs. And even as he's giving it to me, he's still, every time I go back and read, he's giving me something. He just gave this to me just before the show. I'm like, well, what are you saying? I know what you said 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3, because the book has gone through some overhauls, different phases as God was growing it. So in this moment, I said, well, let me just look. Hold on, let me go back, because I got so excited. I hope somebody's Googling it, because I ain't write this. Let's see. Listen, that's about to be something else. That says it comes as a sign for your angels to manifest change in your life as good, and you should pursue it. That's not even the one I was on. So let me try to get back to that. I'm sorry. Hold on for a second. Positive info. This one? Hold on. Symbolism of 150. Hold on. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
Which one was it? Okay. So, okay, sorry. Kiki, thank you. Y'all know she my right, left.
Come on.
So probably you will soon realize that many people want to get closer to you. Perhaps if you want to win, begin your life, then you need to have the experience to do so. equally, success is according to your terms.
Wow.
When I saw the word win in here,
Wow.
okay, I almost lost it. So even the number that, and nothing happens by accident. So even the number that I was given on that day to put on my shirt to recognize me from another contestant. See, God got a number just for you.
Come on.
And that's why I said you got to pay attention to even the numbers. So you got to pay attention to everything in this season.
Yeah.
I wrote this for tonight. Pay attention to the signs, even the whispers. Wow. Pay attention even to your dreams.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself to write down the small details. Sometimes we forget about the little small details, and it's in those that God might be speaking to you the loudest in this season. So I said, if I was going to challenge somebody tonight, it's to write down the little detail. Find the littlest detail to even thank God for. Find the littlest thing. If you had a dream and it was about the mountain and you had on red, try to go back and remember, okay, I think I had on blue shoes, I had on white, because every color means something, every number means something. The location, whether you were in the car or in your grandmother's old house sitting in a couch in the living room and the couch was brown, all of it means something. You got to pay attention to the signs in the season. If you want to win, you have to be intentional. Your lens, your focus, like even when we take pictures, the further we go, we kind of want somebody to zoom in. I'm telling somebody tonight what this chapter is about is zooming in. It's focusing in.
Wow.
I'm not talking about taking the app and making your face more beautiful than what it is because you didn't wear makeup and you wear filters. I'm talking about removing the filters and zooming into what exactly it is that God is trying to show you. The naked you with before the mascara. Before the foundation.
Wow.
God is saying he's coming for the littlest detail. And that's what he wants you to pay attention to. And that's where you're going to see your win. That's where you're going to see your greatest victory, because it is something that he is saying even in this moment to his people. He's saying it to individuals. And what I love about God, as Kiki mentioned, God just keeps saying it over and over. Sometimes I'm just, I'm scrolling down Facebook and I say, oh, let me see what this service is about. Lord, if I don't hit the pastor talking about win.
Yeah. I've been hearing it.
A song about, yes, I'm a win. I'm like,
I've been hearing it. Yeah.
If you ain't God, I don't know who is. So he is saying it. I mean, it is like, what is it? You put the YouTube or you put a song on repeat. It's like on repeat. Yes. When. You know, like those broken records, it becomes irritating. It's like win. Yes. Everywhere. That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Is win. So I know this is our appointed time. This is our due season. Yes. Now it's time for you to win. So I dare you to win. This time you're going to win. And I said this before, Nicole, you heard me say when we did this last Thursday, that when the subtitle, this time you win. I say it just like this woman, and Kiki was in that service. This woman called me up, and I believe I was the last person that she ministered to that night.
Wow.
And she had prayed for a lot of people, and then she said, "Yeah, church was over."
So this was praise and worship rehearsal, and she just happened to stop by.
Wow.
She said the Lord led her there, and we were in another room, and we heard all this praying and travailing, and we like, oh, that sounds good. We about to go see what's going on.
The sound of glory.
Yes. The author Kanita was in fetal position, receiving from God, and her it was like drops mic, walks off stage. She said, "This time you win."
Wow.
With such power and authority that things shattered, and you knew something was forthcoming, something was coming on the horizon. So you win.
Yeah. So when the way that lady said that to me, it was like, this time you win. Her name is Apostle Angela, and she's on my Facebook page. And I reached out to her and I told her, I said, you know what? That thing, and you know, we can have people speak into our lives, prophesy. We forget, we was like, what they say? But the way in which she said it, it's still, it shook not just me. The Bible says where they all were sitting. It was like that you've been hurt. You've experienced loss after loss, and the Lord sees you. You think that you've forgotten. You think that you're like Leah and those that have been pushed to the side and forsaken. But God is saying, I've remembered you, and this time you will.
This time.
And when that woman said that, she laid hands on my stomach, and I passed out.
Wow.
Gone. Like, that don't ever happen. Listen, first of all, you better not touch me too quickly.
Right.
No.
Hallelujah. Laid out. But honey, I was arrested by the presence of God. But that day, God sent that woman. And if she goes back and watch this, I messaged her the other day. I said, now, do you know I talk about you almost every day when I talk about this book? When this book, and even the red, even the coloring, I dare you to win, is symbolic of you're going to come out as pure gold. I don't care what you're in. I don't care what your fire looks like. You coming out, when I dare you to win, it means when you come out, you coming out as pure gold.
Pure gold.
Why? Because you got the light of God, that eye.
Yeah.
The light of God on the inside of me. That red, that symbolizes you got the blood backing you.
Come on.
So you're covered in every area. So the whole book, when I'm pointing at you, I want you to feel like it's the Lord piercing you. I'm daring you. I'm double daring you to take the step, to take the risk. Because you cannot take a risk. I wrote in for tonight, I said, I'm looking for the fear breakers and the risk takers.
Yes, yes.
The fear breakers and the risk takers. That's who I'm talking to tonight. Where are the risk takers that I'm going to do it anyway? I failed, and I love the way that my Pastor James, how he talks about the guy who created the light bulb.
Edison?
He was talking about
Edison.
But he's just been talking about George Washington Carver. He's just been talking about
Washington.
I wasn't talking about it tonight. But he talks about how they fell almost 100 times, and it was almost like the 101st time is when it worked. The 99th time it worked. But imagine if he would have stopped at 98. So he took a risk. So we have to ask God for another level of strength to dream again, to go. Lord, let me go at this with another fire, at another rate.
Ooh, that's so good.
I'm moving in this area.
That's good.
Wow.
The outcome, it didn't turn out like I thought it was going to turn out. So
do it again.
I pray for the person that's discouraged.
Yeah.
I pray for the person. I come to encourage the person that says, you know what, I'm just swallowed up because I have did this 99 times. I prayed for this marriage 99 times for the work. And it is not working yet. There is no hope left for this. I pray that you will take the risk, that God will give you the strategy, the know-how, that he'll give you the prayers, he'll give you the people to cover you, he'll give you whatever you need, whether it's your relationship, whether it's in your health, whatever, in your business, that God will give you another win. Hallelujah. Not W-I-N. He'll give you another W-I-N-D. That his wind will come and give you another burst of wind. My God. Hallelujah. Your marriage.
Yes,
your
God.
life. Your business. That God will breathe into you tonight another level of strength. Hallelujah. Glory to his name. And then you will be the winner. That God will raise up, hallelujah, your life as a testimony. That he will raise up your life and you will be a light, hallelujah, in darkness. Hallelujah. The win is not just about you. It's about the testimonies. It's about the spoils. It's about the sheaves. It wasn't just about the people that were fed on that day. They had baskets to take even for weeks to come.
They had leftovers. Yes.
So the win is not just about you tonight. The win is about even those in your family, even as the song says that everything attached to you. That's why you have to be careful who's attached to you.
Yes. That's
winning is contagious.
Winning is
contagious. Winning is like a virus.
Come on.
Come on.
Be careful.
I love it. I love that. Come on. Move over, COVID. Winning is contagious.
The name of this book, Nicole, and I'm done. The glory.
Oh no, we got
the name of this
going
book,
now.
Like I said, this book has gone through a few transitions. But the book, I mean, I've had like 7 titles for the book, right? It was like 85 titles.
I confirm that statement.
This time you win was always
Yeah.
But the book, one of the transitions of the title was from when, WHEN, to win. For the people that feel like, God, when will I ever win?
Yeah.
And I just say, if you want to win, I speak to you tonight. Go get the book. Join us every Thursday. Nicole, Crystal, everybody. It's been wonderful in this process. Everybody that you see tonight has been a part of this process for either all 5 years, 4 years. And Nicole is the newest person as the editor. And she has been a true blessing. And Nicole, I appreciate you. I thank you. I thank you for who you are, and I thank you for even this win. And as you have caused me to win, I thank God for greater wins in your life. Not just in your life, but in your family's life.
Yes.
Places that you've been discouraged, I speak now that God is going to send a victory even in the next 3 days. That God is going to even confirm the word that I'm speaking tonight. God's going to do something even unusual. Even as you wear the color yellow, that means sun and life, that God will bring light and life back to you. I speak against insomnia, anything that will come to disturb and distort your sleep tonight. And I'm getting this fresh from God, that God will give you sweet peace and sweet rest. You've been asking God to give you rest. God, just give me rest. I feel like even as you've been wrestling, but God is bringing you even to a new level of rest. So I appreciate you. Thank you for having me tonight. And I'm going to be quiet.
I'm speechless because God has been confirming this word over and over. I just downloaded a new app on my phone about wrestling. I mean, come on, you just all in, and I'm so grateful. And I felt led to wear nice bright yellow today. So I thank you for your word. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for your time. I thank you for just being obedient to the voice of God. Thank you, Crystal, for joining us. Thank you, Kiki, for joining and sharing a fresh word. I'm grateful. I'm excited, guys. And this is just the first Thursday. Yes. We got 3 more, guys. 3 more. So for everybody who's just tuning in, we're talking about I Dare You to Win. Please pick up a copy of the book. We talked about the law of risk. So check us out next Monday. Another episode will be released. And that we'll be talking about the law of isolation on next Monday. Check out the podcast, check out the YouTube. We're going to post it on the Facebook. And then next Thursday, we're going to be back again for our next discussion on the law of determination. So each week, each time, we're going to be talking about something different. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see everyone next week. Bye. Bye.